What up, peeps, and welcome back to the next little installment in my Star Wars first impression review, reaction type videos, whatever you want to call them. I'm not really sure what they are, but I'm actually going to be filming 2 episodes here in a row because I did not film last week. So last week we watched episode 1, which we're going to be talking about today, and then just yesterday we watched episode 2, which will be the next video, which I'm going to record right after I finish up this one. So, right off the bat, I am going to say that despite everything that we have been told or we have heard about the prequels, about, everything that was done basically after the first 3, people have been telling us to skip them, people have been telling us to just not watch them and just go straight to The Mandalorian or whatever it is. Some people have also been telling us that we should have watched the prequels first so that we got the story in order, but I think the way that we are watching them is how Ryan recommends that we watch them, and I'm actually glad that we've been doing it that way. I don't think that there's really a need for you to watch the prequels first. It's not like the story is difficult to follow at all, so having the knowledge of the prequels before you watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, I don't think that it really does much. The only thing that I think might be a little bit helpful would be that you wouldn't know some of the outcomes when you go back to watch the prequels second, is the only thing I can say. But I will say that I did enjoy the movie. And I will also say it is nowhere near as good as the original trilogy, but I didn't think that it was bad, and at least from what I've always heard, a lot of people do. So, the coolest part to me from the entire movie is the whole pod racing scene and everything that takes place basically in that section of the universe. Watto, I thought, was a fun, cool character, and the whole thing, like, he's got like his shop, and he's got, I guess they're slaves, but he's got Anakin and his mom, and Anakin's always like working on projects and repairing stuff and building things. That part was really, really cool. I enjoyed that part quite a bit, and the whole racing scene was very cool as well. I've obviously played the N64 game. That was kind of my only reference for the movie, but I definitely enjoyed that part of it, and I thought that it was pretty cool. So going back to what I was saying about if you watch the prequels first, then you don't have any like spoilers. It's not too hard to figure out what's going on, but and I'm probably not spoiling anything at this point. I'm assuming everyone's kind of seen it, but it's common knowledge that Anakin is Darth Vader, and obviously you know that when you start to watch episode 1 if you have seen 4, 5, and 6 already. So if you watch the prequels first, then you might not know that. There is some, I don't even know what the word would be, it's like kind of like foreshadowing type stuff. There are some things that, that imply what's going to happen, but if you haven't seen the original trilogy first, then maybe you wouldn't have some of those like spoilers, I guess you could call them that. I don't know if they'd actually be considered spoilers, but you wouldn't kind of know the outcomes ahead of time, and I feel like that's the only argument, at least for me, to watch the prequels first. But I think watching them in the order that we have been has actually been very, very beneficial and has drawn me in more, because if I had started with the prequels, now that I've seen 2 of them, I will just say I would not be as excited to continue on as I was when we watched the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6. Those movies were just so much better overall, and I still have one of the prequels to go, but the original trilogy was so much better that it made me want to watch the prequels. If it had been the other way around and I watched the prequels first, I don't know if I'd be as excited to go back and watch the original trilogy. So I am glad that we've been watching them in the order that we have been. So the main thing that everyone is probably wondering about for this particular video is Jar Jar. And he is definitely very, very annoying. I understand that they wanted to have some sort of comic relief in the movie. In the original trilogy, you have the droids. They're always doing funny stuff. You have Yoda, who is freaking hilarious. And then you have, like, the Ewoks that can be kind of funny and stuff like that. And then I guess with the prequel, they wanted to add some of that back in. Obviously, the droids are in the movies still, but they're not as prevalent in the prequels as they are in the original trilogy. So I'm assuming they wanted some sort of comic relief character, and Jar Jar is what they went with, and I don't know why. It's probably going to be no surprise, but he is extremely annoying. He's not funny, and it's just kind of like embarrassing and pathetic. There were other parts of the movie that were more funny than Jar Jar. So I don't think that, like, the droids and stuff were funny. Yoda was hilarious, but when you think of Star Wars, at least for me, I don't think of a funny movie. I don't think of a movie that needs comic relief. It's more of like a serious type story. There's battles and wars and all this stuff going on, interplanetary stuff. You don't need some stupid character making fart jokes or whatever, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I thought Jar Jar was very annoying, but I didn't absolutely hate him like most people do. I don't think that it's the worst thing ever to be created or anything like that. But he was very, very annoying. I can say that. And it's not just like his voice, it's the way that he speaks. Instead of saying I did this, it's like Misa did this. I don't know what the point of that is. I understand different creatures and stuff in Star Wars have different languages and all that, but it just doesn't seem like a great idea from the beginning. It's pretty annoying. But with that aside, he's in the movie not a ton, which is good. He's in the second movie a lot less, which is much, much better. But sticking with the first one, that was very annoying. But I did enjoy when they went to his like underwater home village type thing, whatever you want to call it. That was really, really cool. Zelda's down here meowing at me. The other Jar Jar creatures, his name is Jar Jar. I don't know what species he is, but the other creatures that live in that underwater area are kind of cool. The main, like the king or whatever he is, he talks and then he like does that blah, 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 blah thing and shakes his head. Stuff like that is kind of funny, I guess. But yeah, overall, I thought the movie was good. Like I said, it was definitely not as good as the original 3. So number 1 or episode 4 so far was of the original trilogy. Episode 4 was my least favorite, but it is definitely better than episode 1. But I did still enjoy it, and I enjoyed the next movie as well, which we'll talk about in the next video. But we are going to continue on with watching them. So after we finish the prequels, then we have, now that I have learned, we have episodes 7, 8, and 9, which continue the story, and then there's a couple offshoot movies that we may watch. There's like the Solo story or whatever it's called, and then there's some other things. We're probably not going to watch the Clone Wars cartoon or anything like that. I just am not super interested in that. We do want to watch The Mandalorian though, which I think we're planning on doing, and I'm glad to hear that most people are really enjoying it. That makes me feel good about wanting to watch it, because I think that it will be pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. But as for episode 1, I thought it was really good. Jar Jar was annoying. It wasn't as good as the original trilogy, but it wasn't bad. I just said it was really good. I should have said it was good, but not as good as the original trilogy. So we're going to continue on watching, and the next video will be for episode 2, which, like I said, I've already watched. I'm going to film that right now, but With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying these little Star Wars videos, and maybe we can continue on. And I've created a playlist for movie reviews, which all these Star Wars movies have been added to. And I think I'd like to continue doing other types of videos like this for other movies. If you guys are enjoying them and you'd like to see that, just let me know in the comments down below. There's plenty of movies I can talk about, and I think we're going to continue on watching a movie with each game night. So once we finish Star Wars, we have a few other things that we're thinking about watching. Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, Gremlins, lots of other stuff. There's lots of options. So if you want to see more videos like this, just please let me know in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.